Becoming a mom is definitely a big adjustment, and it's not going to be easy, but you learn as you go. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about my C-section recovery and going home with the baby after a C-section. I received a couple DMs asking me to go into this subject, so I thought, why not? Let's dive into my C-section. All right, so after I got my C-section, they wheeled me back to the recovery room where I originally was. After my C-section, I really didn't feel much. It was just a little sore, but I also had my epidural in, and obviously they had put anesthesia on me, so I wasn't feeling too much pain right after my C-section. The anesthesia was supposed to wear off about an hour after my procedure. So after that, it did start hurting a little, but the nurses were very prompt on giving me my medication on time. So I think I was taking 2 different types of pills / medicine to help with the pain. They also put like a little white bandage over my C-section. I stayed laying down in the hospital bed until the next day, August 18th, maybe around noon. That is when I finally did a little bit of movement because they had us move to another room. So I literally was in a hospital bed for almost like, I don't know, a whole day. So I really wasn't moving. I would try to, obviously, you know, the hospital beds, like you can lay flat and they can go up like that. So I would do that to help me position myself to breastfeed my baby. And even that would hurt just because obviously it's a fresh cut and I'm sore. The medication's gonna help with the pain, but it's not gonna take it away 100%. And I still had my epidural in, like I said, so that was helping, but it still felt a little sore. So like I mentioned, they decided to move us to another room, which was actually on the 3rd level of the hospital. That room had a nice view with the window. I'm gonna insert a picture of Jasiel in that room. So in order to move us to the 3rd floor, well, to move me to the 3rd floor, since I hadn't even tried to walk or get up after my procedure, they had to roll. So I was in a bed and they rolled another bed right next to mine like this. And the nurse and my boyfriend kind of helped shimmy with the sheets me to the other bed. Even that hurt. Like I think that was such a slow transition for me. I was literally like, like as I was moving to the other bed. So when I finally got on the other bed, the nurse wheeled us to the 3rd floor, and then I was put in the nice room with the window view, and that was our room until we got discharged. So now we are in our new room and I have new nurses. Mind you, all the nurses in my hospital were super sweet, super nice, and they really seemed like they cared about me, the patients, and stuff like that. So when I got to the new room, I had a nurse, and straight off the bat, she told me that she had a couple goals for me. Now that it is the next day and I hadn't walked, one of the goals was to stand up. Another goal was to walk to the bathroom. Another goal was to pee. I hadn't peed after my procedure because I had a catheter. So when I got my epidural in, since it numbs your legs and the lower half of your body, they have to insert a catheter in you because you can't really get up and walk and just be free with the epidural. So she was going to remove the catheter, and so she wanted me to walk to the bathroom and pee. And then another goal was to try walking at least, I think it was 2 or 3 times a day for like 5 minutes around the room. And then, oh yeah, and I think it was one more goal was she had a little thing that you blow into. So that was just to like get your lungs going, since I guess I had been laying down for a long time. She wanted me to like exercise my lungs. So I just, that's kind of what it was. It was just breathing into a little tube to make sure it moved. So like I said, that was the afternoon of August 18th, which was a Tuesday. So then when they put me in the new room, I could finally eat solids. So she also gave me that good news. So I literally was like, oh, bet. It had been since my water broke on Sunday at 8:15 p.m. since I hadn't had any solids, and that was August 16th at 8:15 p.m. and then now on August 18th on Tuesday, I'm finally eating solids. So I decided to look at the hospital menu and I ordered me some chicken parmesan with a cookie and some other good stuff, mashed potatoes, I think it was french fries. I ordered all of that and I was actually surprised because like I thought like I would only be able to eat soups and stuff after my C-section, but I was able to eat solids the next day after my procedure. So a couple hours later, after I enjoyed my tasty solid lunch, the nurse came in and she told me that it was time to stand up. No. I was not ready. Yeah, I was definitely not ready for that because I already knew, like, even from just like, I'm telling y'all, even from just getting up, like, just to position myself to, you know, latch my baby on and get in the right position, it was already hurting. So I definitely wasn't ready to stand up. I wasn't ready to walk. I wasn't ready to go potty by myself or anything. Oh, actually, before she told me she was going to stand me up, she removed the catheter out from me. And she also gave me the option to remove my epidural. So she told me that if she removes my epidural, I'm gonna feel a little bit more soreness, and I had the option to keep it in, but I don't know, I kind of wanted to take it out. I didn't want to be on so much medication and stuff like that. I don't know, in my head, I just didn't want to be like too loopy and stuff like that, and I wanted to take into consideration that I am breastfeeding. I don't know, it was just a kind of like a personal thing, I don't know. So I told her she can go ahead and remove my epidural as well. So she went ahead and did that before I got to standing up and walking. At the time came where I had to stand up, the nurse was so supportive. So she had me kind of move my body and sit at the edge of the bed, which was terrible because I was feeling pain already, and I knew that when I stood up and I tried to walk, it was going to be hell. So I literally sat at the edge of the bed and I couldn't get up, honestly, for like 2 minutes. I just sat there and she was like, when you're ready, it's fine, when you're ready. So I literally just sat there. I was in so much pain, like, I finally stood up, and that literally was hell. So if that was hell, I literally was gonna be in so much pain as I was walking. She was obviously holding my hands, so they're not going to let you go. Your first walk and your first trip to the bathroom, the nurses want to be there to help you, obviously, in case anything goes wrong. So she was there holding my hands. My boyfriend was also there for support if I needed anything. So yeah, that just standing up was already bad. So then I tried to take a step. Whew. I literally could like re-feel the pain. It was terrible. I literally walked so slow. As I was walking, I was crying, I was tearing up, and she was just so supportive. She was like, you can do it, come on, we're almost there, you could do it. I literally was like, like, I was crying. Oh my gosh, I just don't, going through something like that, I just don't ever want to do it again. But the strength, because when I look back at everything I went through after my C-section and postpartum, I'm like, dang, I really got through it. I walked to the bathroom. Mind you, there is a bathroom in the room that we're in, so the bathroom is probably about a good 6-7 feet away. So I walked that far. I got to the toilet, and there is a rail next to the toilet, so I used the rail to help me sit down on the toilet. And she told me I needed to pee, I think it was at least 400 ounces. I could be wrong, but you have to pee a certain amount of ounces. So I literally sat there and I was just looking at her and I was like, I can't pee. Like, I can't pee. It doesn't want to come out. And mind you, it was hurting. Like, it was hurting. So it was just pain because I couldn't even, oh yeah, because she told me, she's like, don't push it out. She's like, just let it come out naturally. Like, don't push it out, just let it come out naturally. And I was just looking at her and I was like, I can't pee, like I can't pee. She's like, just distract yourself. She's like, do you need your phone? And I was just like, sure, bring me my phone. So she grabbed my phone and she gave it to me, and I just turned on my phone and I kind of like scrolled and I was looking at some messages, and then all of a sudden I started peeing. Which was crazy. So, and then she mentioned to me that sometimes what you need is to just your mind to be distracted by something else. She says like the first pee is always hard, but your mind just needs to be distracted by something else. I guess because I think I was thinking about it too hard and other people think about it too hard, so it doesn't come out. So when I went to the bathroom, there was obviously blood in my pee. That is called postpartum bleeding. So after you have your baby, C-section or vaginally, you are going to have some postpartum bleeding. So I was wearing, the hospital gave me like some big pads, and then I was also wearing some granny panties. I was wearing Hanes briefs that I bought. I brought my own underwear. The hospital has some, but I told her that I had my own, so I used those. So I was wearing some granny panties along with a big pad just in case, you know, because like I said, you are postpartum bleeding, so you don't want to get messy down there if you aren't wearing anything. And honestly, granny panties are just so much more comfortable, and I made sure the ones I got rose up probably to like above my belly button, so I made sure they were pretty high. That way they were comfortable and I felt a little bit more secure. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, she had told me that if I didn't pee by a certain time, so I think it was like by 7 p.m. or something, that they were going to have to insert another catheter in me, and this time I would feel when they inserted the catheter. And she did mention to me that it would hurt because I did not have an epidural in. So I made sure that I drank fluids. I made sure I was drinking water. That way I had to pee, and they wouldn't have to insert another catheter. After my first pee, she told me that I had to pee a total of 2 more times, and every time I went to the bathroom and peed, she wanted me to go ahead and give her a call, or to call the nurses station, so that way they could come in and check my pee and make sure that it was the right number of ounces, and I guess that it was okay. So in the toilet, there was like a little circle thing. It kind of looked like a little bowl, and it had like a certain number of measurements of ounces. So it was like 100, 200 ounces, 300, 400. So when I peed, I had to make sure I peed in the toilet, but like I said, in the toilet was that little bowl. So I had to make sure my pee was going in the little bowl that was in the toilet that would measure how many ounces I peed. So after my first pee, she told me that if I needed to go to the bathroom, I could do it all by myself. Obviously, like I said, just to make sure to call them and let them know that I did pee. That way they could come in and make sure that I was peeing the right amount of ounces. When I finished peeing my first time, I had to walk back to the bed, which was terrible. Obviously, I was in so much pain. It hurt to get back on the bed. I literally had to like hold myself. They had to help me. It was just, whew. I had to literally like shimmy as I was getting on the bed. I was like, it just, I'm telling y'all, it's a pain, like it's painful. After the first pee, she then let me obviously go to the bathroom. Like I said, I had to go 2 more times after the first one, so she let me do it all by myself. After that, I didn't need the nurse's help. However, I still needed help because obviously I'm super sore and it hurt to get up. So my boyfriend was the one who was helping me get to the edge of the bed, help me stand up, and he was also helping me walk. So the second time that I got up to use the bathroom, it wasn't as bad as the first time, but it still really, really, really hurt. But my advice is, the more you get up and the more you walk, the better it gets. It's not gonna hurt as bad. The more you get up and the more you start walking around, it's not gonna hurt. But like I said, it's not impossible. You're gonna get through it. It's just painful at first, like, sorry, but it is. Also, maybe it was also a lot more painful for me because like I said, I took out my epidural. I didn't want it to be in me anymore. As well with my pain medications, she was also giving me a stool softener since I was eating solids already. She wanted to make sure that if I had to go number 2, that I didn't have to push or anything. TMI! But yeah, I was also taking stool softeners along with my medication for pain, which they are going to do that for you guys as well. So I was having nurses come in every 3 to 4 hours to give me my medication, and as well as giving me my medication, they had to check on my C-section. So they would pull up my hospital gown and make sure that there was no bleeding on my bandages. And this is the worst part, you guys. They would push on my C-section, and the nurses said it was so they could make sure my uterus was, like, I guess, intact or okay. So they would push on my cut. That was the most painful. I think that was painful because, like, what? I just had a cut. I don't want you pushing on it. Like, why would you do that? But yeah, they pushed on my, like, and they had to push, like, pretty deep to feel my uterus. So, oh my gosh, it was terrible. And when they would push on my cut, so when they would push on my cut, I was like, I'm pretty dramatic, but like, the noises were helping me get through the pain, if that makes sense. So that was another thing that I really hated. I think that was probably, that was really painful, honestly, because you don't want nobody pushing on any cut, when you hurt yourself or you bruise yourself, you don't want to touch it, you don't want to mess with it, and they were pushing on it just to make sure that, Alright, so the next day, on Wednesday, August 19th, my OB came into the room to check on me, ask if I had any questions, stuff like that. And she also told me that that evening I could be discharged. So she removed my white bandage from my C-section. So now it was just all stomach and C-section. And she said it looked great. I was not bleeding or anything. She also cleared me to take a shower. So after my doctor cleared me to take a shower, obviously I really did want to take a shower. So I got all my stuff ready. My boyfriend helped me prepare everything that I needed for after my shower. And I decided I was going to take a shower, but I was really scared because obviously I had my C-section. So that was that. So I got in the shower and I kind of tried to make sure not to wet my cut. It didn't really hurt. However, when the water was hitting me, or when the water would touch there, it didn't really hurt. I mean, I was sore. Your cut's gonna be sore. Like I keep saying, it was sore. Yeah, your cut's gonna be sore for a good couple days after you have your C-section. I was taking a shower and I was just making sure, kind of just to have my back towards the water, so letting the back really hit my water. I would turn to the front and kind of scrub really quickly, but I didn't want to be with the water hitting the front of my body too much, obviously, because my cut is below my belly. So that was one thing that I did. So once I got out the shower, I felt like a whole new person. I changed into some, like, a little button up I had, some shorts, and I chose a button up because it was just easy to unbutton and to breastfeed my baby. But yeah, I changed into clothes and I just felt like a whole new person. Honestly, showers after labor / having your baby is holy grail. It is the best feeling ever. I honestly felt 10 times better after I took a shower. So after my shower, I got back in bed. Like I said, I felt like a whole new person. The nurses would come in and ask me to rate my pain. At that time, my pain was probably like a 2 or a 3. It wasn't too bad. My C-section wasn't excruciating pain. Like I said, just sore, like a fresh cut. We also had a couple nurses come in and check on the baby, just to make sure that everything was okay for the baby and he was doing good in order for us to leave the hospital that evening. So by this time, I'm already doing a little bit better. Walking is getting a little bit easier. I'm able to do it by myself, so my boyfriend didn't have to help me. And honestly, I wanted to be able to walk by myself. And it was a little painful, but I knew that I had to do it for myself. So walking wasn't as bad at this point now. So I was doing a little bit more of it. I was kind of going to the bathroom, coming out of the bathroom, walking to where Josiel was. He was laying in that little bassinet that the hospital puts them in. So I would walk there and then I would come back and just lay down in the bed. The time came for us to get discharged. I want to say we got discharged around 6:30 or 7. So after we got discharged, we put the baby in the car seat. I was in a wheelchair. They put me in a wheelchair. Just obviously it would be a lot to walk after a C-section if I was just to walk out of the hospital. So they will put you in a wheelchair once you are ready to be discharged. So they wheelchair you to your car. And so yeah, we put the baby in the car seat and we were on our way home after that. Sadly, after we got discharged, I immediately started with some migraines. So one of the things that sadly I was affected by postpartum were terrible migraines. Nothing would help. The medication that they prescribed me, I had Tylenol. What else did I have? I had hydrocodone and I had ibuprofen. None of those were helping with my migraine pain. I think I had migraine literally right when I got discharged. So in the car, I had the worst migraine ever. It was terrible. I want to say probably 4 to 5 days after we got discharged, I had migraines all those days. So that was honestly the worst thing that probably came from postpartum, because that was the only thing stopping me from being 100. Yes, I had my C-section, but like I said before, I was walking around wasn't too bad at that point. Your body kind of, I want to say, makes it less painful the more you move around with your C-section. So I was making sure to walk around. So coming home with a C-section, I want to say it was pretty difficult because at times it would be sore and I would just, I guess, sit and lay in the bed. My boyfriend was very supportive, obviously, so he was practically doing everything for me, getting me food, handing me the baby, stuff like that, just so I wouldn't have to move around so much, because like I said, I was having those terrible migraines, and on top of that, my C-section would be sore from here and there, and I didn't want to do too much walking. So they do recommend you walk, but they don't want you walking too much, and obviously if you're in pain, you kind of don't really want to move. So I was literally in bed once I got home from the hospital, which I definitely recommend having someone, if it's your partner, your mom, your grandma, your sister, your brother, whatever. I definitely recommend having someone when you get discharged from the hospital to help you after a C-section, just because it is sore and you are going to be in pain and you're not going to want to move around as much, and obviously you have a baby and you need to tend to them. When I got home from the hospital, I still was using the big pads and granny panties. Like I said before, at the hospital I was using them. Once I got discharged, I was using them, and I still am using them till this day, because like I said, postpartum bleeding, it's on and off. With the C-section, it's more, you have it more when you have a vaginal delivery, but with the C-section you also do have postpartum bleeding. It's just not as strong. Well, mine wasn't as strong or as frequent than it would have been, I think, with a vaginal delivery. But yeah, I still am wearing those two things. I also took a shower at home. Like I said, I recommend taking quick showers at home. So after I took a shower at home, my cut was really sore, and I did cry a little because it's just an adjustment and it sucks, you know. So yeah, I did. That was my first shower being at home. My cut was hurting after that, so I made sure that I took my medication to try to ease the pain a little. So what I do recommend is taking your medications on time. Take them on time, because like I said, your C-section is gonna hurt, it is gonna be sore, so definitely take those on time. A couple of the things to reiterate that they do make you do at the hospital is they are going to make you stand up after a C-section, they are going to make you walk, they are going to make you go potty after a C-section. They made me potty a total of at least, well, they wanted to measure my pee at least 3 times. So they are going to do that. My nurse had me blow into that little tube I discussed earlier. So I was also doing that. They are also going to make you take, they are going to make you take a shower. I do recommend the shower. It's honestly a great feeling afterwards. Obviously, if you need help taking a shower, then have your support person help you take a shower. I took a shower by myself. I was able to stand up and quickly take a shower. Obviously, you don't want to be in the shower for too long. You kind of want to take a quick 5, maybe 10-minute shower, but you don't want to be in there for too long or your cut's gonna hurt a lot more. One of the things I did do when I was home, I think it was about 3 days after I was home, I put on a faja. So what the faja is gonna do, it's kind of just going to help hold everything in place. You obviously had a baby and you were blown up, so I definitely recommend getting a faja. A faja is just gonna hold everything in place, and it's also gonna make you feel secure. Another thing that it's gonna do is, when you first put it on, it's gonna kind of hurt around your C-section, but it's also going to help it's also gonna help with moving around. So it's gonna make moving around a little bit easier because you have something tight there and it's holding it in place. So this is the faja that I was wearing. Now I switched to a medium. So this is actually, my mom gave me this. So she got this after her tummy tuck. The surgeon gave her this faja. So what it has is, it has a zipper on the side. So this is the front and this is the back, and it has buckles. So along with the zipper, it has buckles. So if you want, you can use the buckles, or you cannot use the buckles and only use the zipper part. Another cool thing is that it has a hole where your booty and your holes down there are. So you do not have to take the faja off when you're using the bathroom. That's probably a worry, but honestly the hole is pretty big, so you're not gonna make a mess anywhere. And yeah, so this is the faja that I was wearing. It's kind of a little bit stretchy right here. So this one is super awesome for, I would recommend a C-section. So I had another faja that buckles in the front. I do not recommend that one just because we did try to put the faja that buckles in the front. So the faja I had has these buckles in the front, and we tried to buckle it and it was just hurting my C-section. So my mom was like, you know what? I have these fajas that have zippers on the side and it's gonna be a lot easier to put them on. So another thing that I do recommend, like I said before, have a support person to help you when you get discharged from the hospital at home, and also have that person help you with cooking food and maybe the dishes and a little bit of housework. Obviously after a C-section, you don't want to be doing any of that. That's just going to be too much for you personally, and that is not going to help you. So definitely have someone that you trust or someone that you're comfortable with do a little light housework. That way you are not having to do all that stuff when you are trying to recover and you are also tending to a baby. All right, you guys, so I think that wraps up everything for this video. So one of my recommendations for a C-section is don't push yourself to do something that you know you can't do. However, a C-section is going to be painful, and like I said, walking and moving around is just going to make it a lot better. It's gonna help your recovery a lot better. Yeah, it's not easy, but you will get through it. At that times that you're going through it, it's gonna feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get through this. This is never gonna stop. This is the worst thing ever. But I promise, once you look back and once you get through it, you're like, wow, I really got through it. Because that's honestly how I feel now. If you have any questions about C-section recovery, please feel free to leave a comment down below, or also you can DM me on any of my social media. That is also in the description box. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified when I post. And I hope you guys are looking forward to another video. Bye, peace out.